All right, so now that we have our post model created, we're going to start on our routes. So we'll go to routes API post.js, and we're going to bring in a few things here. Of course, we want Mongoose because we're dealing with the database. And we also want Passport so that we can protect some routes. All right, and let's see. Let's go right below our test here, and let's first create a route that is going to allow us to create a post. So this will actually be a post request to API/posts. Okay, the description will say create post. Access is going to be private. Okay, we don't want just anyone to be able to create a post. So let's say router.post, and the URL will be slash because it's API/posts and we're already in that file. Then we want to protect the route, so we want passport.authenticate with JWT, session false, request response. And what do we want to do next? So we will have validation, but we'll do that after. Let's get the logic here. So we'll create a new post variable, and we need to bring in our post model first of all. So let's go back up here and let's say const post equals require, and we want to go, let's see, we want to go outside of the API folder, outside of the routes folder, into models and into post. That'll bring in our model. Now we can say new post, and we'll pass in an object, and we want the text, which will come from the request.body.text. What else do we want? We want the name, which will come from request.body.name. We want the avatar, which will come from request.body.name. Now, even though it's coming from the body, the way that we're going to do it in React is we're going to pull the name and the avatar and the user from the user state. Okay, when the user is logged in, Redux is basically going to keep that user's information in the state, okay, throughout the entire application as long as they're logged in, and we have access to it whenever we want. So when they submit a post, we're going to pull it from that. They're not actually going to type in their name and re-upload their avatar or anything like that. And then we want user, which we're going to get from request.user.id. So obviously that's the current logged in user. All right, now once we do that, we can then save. So we'll say new post dot save, and we want to do dot then to get our promise. It'll give us the post, and then we just want to res.json the post. Okay, so we'll do that. Now we might as well create our validation. So I'm going to go under validation here and say new file post.js. And let's go ahead and copy one of these. We'll copy login. Let's copy a short one, actually. Is there any shorter ones? Maybe not. We'll just grab login and paste that in post. So this stuff is all going to be the same. Let's see. The only thing that is really going to be required is the text. Yeah, so let's do this. So text, whoops, like that. Nothing else is going to be empty because the avatar, the name, and that stuff, that's coming in programmatically, so it's not going to be possible for it to be empty. So we don't have to check that. What I do want to check is, let's see, let's get rid of this. We want to check to make sure it's not empty, so we'll say text, And we'll say right here, oops, what am I doing? I have two cursors going on here. We'll say text field is required. Now I also want to make sure that the post is between, let's say, 10 and 300 characters. So we want to go above that. We want the required to be the last, or the is empty to be the last. But right here, let's say if not validator dot is length data dot text, and our rules here will be minimum of 10 characters and a maximum of 300. Okay, so if that is true, or if it's not true, if it's not of that length, we'll say errors dot text equals post must be between 10 and 30, not 30, 300 characters. All right, and that should do it for our validation here. So, oh, we need to change the name of this to validate post input, and we'll save that. And let's go back to our post route, and let's bring that file in. We just put a comment here. We'll say, let's see, what are we going to do here? Let's bring in validate post input, and we're going to set that to require, and we're going to go outside of API, outside of routes, and into validation, and then into post. Okay, so now we can use that in our request right here, or I'm sorry, our response. So what we'll do is what we've been doing. We want to just initialize errors and is empty using destructuring. So we want to pull that out of validate post input. Of course, we want to pass in the body. Okay, so whatever's submitted. And then we just want to check our validation. So we'll say if is not is valid, then we'll say if any errors, send 400 with errors object. So we want to return res.status. We want a 400 status, and then we want to just do .json, and we want to send those errors. Okay, so that's it. Let's save. Prettier formats it a little bit for us, and now we'll test it out. So let's go to Postman, and we want to make sure we're logged in, or it's not going to work. This is going to be expired because it's been quite a while. It may not seem like it, like when you're actually taking the course, that it's been a while, but I may have had to stop for the day, or do something else for a while and come back. So it might seem like the token should still work because it's only been 5 minutes for you, but it's really been 12 hours for me. So let's go ahead and log in again. So we'll find the route here to log in, if I even have it open still, which I don't. So we'll say post request to API users /login, and we want to get rid of this authorization, and then in the body, let's log in. Let's get rid of this stuff. So we just need email, and let's log in as John Doe. User not found. Did I not use this email? Let me just check MongoDB. Let's see. Oh, I used John at Gmail. That's right. Okay, so logged in as John, we get his token. Let's grab it and let's go to, let's see, we'll just change this up. So let's say we want to make a post request to API/posts, and let's see, we want to put our new token in here. This one's not going to work anymore. And this seems like a pain in the butt, but once we get into our React application, obviously we're not going to have to manually add the token and stuff. We're going to get it. It's going to get stored in local storage, and it'll just sit there, and it'll be used as long as we're logged in. Let's see. So for the body, remember we're adding a post, so we do need at least a text value. So for text, we'll say this is a test. Let's see what happens if we send that. Text field is required. Okay, that's because we don't want this form data. We want this here. And then we'll say text. Okay, there we go. So we get our post back. It has an ID. It has text, user, likes, comments, and date. Okay, we didn't add the avatar or name or anything like that. That's going to come through our React application. But if we wanted to add another one, let's say this is another test post, and if we wanted to add a name, we could say John Doe, send, and there we go. Oh, it also did the avatar. Wait a minute. Let me just check something real quick. Yep, see what happened here? Avatar is set to request.body name, so that's why it actually got put in there. It shouldn't have. So this should be avatar. Glad I caught that now. All right, so now we can add a post. Don't worry about the avatar being the name. We're going to work on being able to delete posts anyways. But before we do that, I want to create some routes to actually fetch our posts, to fetch them all in an array, and I also want to be able to fetch just one post. All right, because we're going to be able to see all of our posts in our React app, and then we're going to be able to click on the comments button, and that'll take us to the single post where that'll show and list all the comments. All right, so that's what we're going to do in the next video, is set those routes up.